AirPods 4 have some hidden talents you don't know about, and today I'm going to share with you my longer term experience using these, as well as giving you some tips and tricks to make them extra worth it. That said, if you can help it, please do upgrade to the AirPods Pro, especially if you're looking for ANC. They're by far my pick out of the two, the AirPods 4 versus the AirPods Pro. But if you're dead set on going with the AirPods 4, either with or without ANC, then this is the video for you. Before we even get too far, have you checked out my productivity course? Maybe you haven't heard of it before, to help you be more productive, save a bunch of time with less burnout. I've also got a course on Apple's Freeform app, which will help you go way beyond the basics, along with another course on how to shoot pro iPhone video. You can check out the first lesson for free, and the upcoming AI bundle. All these are linked up down below, so check those out. AirPods are AirPods. They are from Apple. They sound pretty good. They're pricey compared to some of the budget options that you can find online. So we're not even going to talk about how these sound today. You know, if you're looking at AirPods, you're going to be happy with how they sound. That said, what we are going to talk about are the mixed reactions between people who have been very enthusiastic about some of the new features and then a little bit disappointed about features that they feel are missing. Plenty of people are A, happy with the comfort, and B, happy with the noise cancellation if you go with the ANC version. So let's just talk about both of those things before we get into some of the disappointments and then some of the tips and tricks. First of all, yeah, these are super comfortable. For me, they're like light as a feather. It's like almost having nothing in the ears. And I would say in many ways, they're more comfortable than the Pros. Even though I just told you, if you're gonna get some AirPods, save up a little bit extra and get the Pros, just for the sound. Like for the ANC, I made a whole video of this on Daily Tech 2 on the second channel, just dedicated to, if you're all about the ANC, you have to go with the Pros. So if that's you, go check that video out. But in terms of the comfort, yeah, I mean, these are top notch. And I mean, obviously people are excited that this has the H2 chip inside when even the updated AirPods Max didn't get the new H2 chip. That's crazy for the price. But one thing that people have griped about is the way that this charges. Not that it doesn't charge fast, it charges pretty fast. Even though the case is smaller this year, it still holds a good amount of battery. And that's actually one of my favorite things, the size of the case. It's so small. You don't even realize when you look at the pictures online, you gotta hold this thing, like go to the store and actually feel what it's like. It's ridiculously small, which is cool. If you're gonna stash it in your pocket, the smaller the better. But what is not cool is that it doesn't have MagSafe charging. Wireless charging is not MagSafe charging. And I think sometimes people get these confused. If you're hoping to stick this to a MagSafe puck and have it be stuck in place and not get knocked off, you're not gonna get that here. It is literally just going to wirelessly charge. It's not a deal killer by any means, but it really is a nice to have. So personally, that bums me out a little bit. Now let's talk a little bit about the personalized spatial audio. This is something that's pretty cool here. And how this actually works is that you scan your ear using your iPhone camera to get that personalization. And I think that's just a level of detail that you don't get when you get like the budget earbuds or even some really expensive earbuds from other companies like Bose or something. You know, they just can't compete with that level of, I guess, attention to detail. It's just a nice to have thing. A lot of people are gonna skip it. They won't even realize, you know, or they'll just be like, I don't know if it's gonna make a big difference. No, it's actually pretty cool. Real quick, regardless of the AirPods you go with, you gotta check out the ESR Cyber Flick Lock case. With the Flick Lock, you get ultimate drop protection, which works great, as you can see, for safeguarding your AirPods with the AirGuard corners, because you don't want your AirPods to pop out and get lost when dropped, which this prevents. The best thing though is that they're super easy to open one-handed. Makes a satisfying fidget toy as well. But also convenient is the effortless MagSafe charging, because the magnet is 136% stronger than AirPods 4 on their own. These are also capable of being clipped, so you can clip these to your backpack or anywhere else. You might also want to check out ESR's Orbit Hybrid case, which also has a powerful magnetic locking lid as well. The Orbit also gives you that powerful MagSafe charging that again is stronger than AirPods on their own. They're easy to bring with you. The ultra hard shell and shock absorbing core offer excellent protection along with great colors. And you can check out both of these cases using the link down in the description. This is designed to give you immersive theater-like sound. So it's dynamic head tracking. And on certain TV shows, movies, and games, you get this sort of 3D experience where it feels like some of the speakers are like placed in space around you. Some people like this, some people turn it off. I actually really like it. And for me, when you notice it, and you do notice it, you're like, wow, this is actually a pretty nice enhancement, especially if you've never had it before, and especially since it starts at up between 129 and 179 bucks. Actually, when I'm sitting at my desk over here and I'm just working on a project, I'm listening to some music or something, and I've got the Mac or whatever is playing the audio, my iPhone, positioned in a certain place in space on the desk, and then the music sounds like it's coming from that location. It's just kind of a nice touch. It makes your environment seem a little bit more, I guess, adaptive is the right word, even though this has adaptive EQ too. But I'll use that word to describe this spatial audio. One thing that sets the AirPods Pro 2 apart from the AirPods 4 are the tips. Aside from setting up the personalized spatial audio for your AirPods 4, one way to get more out of them, make them feel extra worth it, you can go on Amazon and actually get some tips for the AirPods 4 that you can just fit over the ends to get a better grip, which can actually help these stay in your ear a little bit better, or just enhance the fit for different ear sizes with this anti-slip material. Because here's the thing, I know for a fact that Apple tries to measure a bunch of ears and get this to fit as many ears as possible comfortably and well and securely, but it's impossible to make a shape that actually works for 100% of the people really, really well. So some group of people is always going to be a little bit left out from that scenario. Now these actually fit good for me, maybe not quite as good as the 3s. So some covers like this might actually be useful for some people. Here's another tip for you to get more out of these as well. A lot of people have found, especially if you try to jog or something with these, that it's beneficial to turn off automatic ear detection. Some people love it. Like, that's one of the best features of the AirPods is that you put them in and it realizes they're in. You can start playing music that way. Or if you take them out, your music's gonna pause. But it can be annoying if, let's say, you're jogging and it kind of dislodges a little bit and turns your music off, and you gotta, turn it back on. If you're gonna get active and be all dancing around like this, that might be something that you wanna turn off. Now, as you can see, Apple does offer adaptive EQ here, which basically enhances your listening experience, or it's supposed to, by giving you things like richer bass or clearer mids. It just is supposed to adapt to your ear shape without having to do manual adjustments. What I think this feature gets right is that it seems to make the music feel more consistent, however the buds are actually worn. Sometimes you put it in and it's like sticking out just a little bit, or it's like, it's not perfect. You haven't taken the time to just like situate them perfectly. If it's just a little bit off, then you're still gonna get that consistency with your music. And I think that's nice. That said, it would be cool to manually be able to adjust that adaptive EQ a bit. I know some people feel like it might alter the sound signature for certain tracks or genres a little bit more than they'd like. Overall, I'd call it a slight enhancement. I don't know if most people are really gonna care or notice that much. Surprisingly though, this is actually a feature that you can't go in and turn off. Isn't that weird? So if you want more control over your audio and listening experience, that might actually kind of bug you. In fact, it probably wouldn't have bugged you, except for the fact that I just brought it up right now. You might not have even known that otherwise. Now, one thing that's interesting is that these have conversation awareness. Now, I've had a lot of different earbuds from various companies that have had a similar feature where if you start talking to somebody or if they start talking to you, it will really turn down the volume and sort of like it doesn't pause your music necessarily, but it'll just turn it down so that you can have a conversation, and then it will wait, a set amount of time, like a second and a half or something, and then bring that volume back up. This can be weird in different situations. Sometimes you'll be doing something and it gets a little loud and it'll just turn up the volume a little bit. And you're like, oh, okay. And then turn it down. It seems a little bit arbitrary. Maybe sometimes a little bit wonky. Not so much that I would be like, this is bad. I'm not going to recommend it because of that. But like, I've noticed it here and there. And if you are having a conversation with somebody, it can be kind of annoying, actually. I just mentioned some people would like to have, maximum control over things. Like, that's just something I would rather just handle myself, right? Almost. Sometimes the smart features end up being a little bit more of a pain than not. In terms of the stems here, I really do miss not being able to control the volume with a swipe on the stems like you can get on the Pros. It's another reason it's almost up there with the quality of the noise cancellation for just like pushing me to push people to get the Pros. Even though, yeah, the Pros are due for a refresh their own selves. I don't know, I just really miss that feature and I expect it now on these. And if you had Pros before and then you move down to these because you're like, oh, it's gonna have ANC, which is not a good idea. Go watch my other video on the ANC. I'm not gonna overly go into that here. I don't know, there's just a huge downgrade to not be able to control the volume. I definitely do want to mention the Find My on here. These now have the speaker on the case, so that makes it a little bit easier to find these with an audible chirp, but just the Find My works really well. And because these are so small, I mean, I can think of several instances where I was like, where are my AirPods? And I had to use Find My, and it just was so seamless. It's one of those features like you don't plan on having to use it, but it comes in handy so often that you're like, well, how would I get by without that? It's that useful. So glad that that's here. There's been a little bit of a debate over whether that has more of a battery drain when that feature's active or not. I have nothing to weigh in on with that. Overall, is this something that I would recommend that you buy? Again, if it's in the budget or if you care about ANC, things like the volume switching with the stems, just upgrade. Wait, like save a little bit extra, ask for them for Christmas or something, get the Pros. Those are my favorite. I'm never not gonna recommend those, but some people don't like the fit of the Pros, even with the adjustable ear tips and stuff, and they just, naturally gravitate towards the regular AirPods. And if that's the case, for whatever reason, if this is something that you're really considering and liking, there is a lot to like here. There's a lot of value. It's just not in the ANC from my perspective. Super curious if you have these, what you think, what you would add to the likes or dislikes here. Let me know. Be sure to check out today's sponsor. This is a great case here. Also, you can check out my courses. You can pre-order the new AI course, but we got a course on productivity, a course on shooting pro iPhone video, and many others. Those are linked up down below with the great onboarding. And I'll catch you in the next video. Later.